maybe we can find places where Democrats and Republicans agree. I've caught in the press even just talking about the Clean Economy Act. So this, if I can read something from House Majority Leader Terry Kilgore, who was actually, he joined us at the last virtual Virginia Solar Summit from Southwest Virginia, big believer in solar, but here's what he said. We, quote, "We know that we want to get to a clean economy and use renewable energy, but the sun doesn't shine every day and the wind doesn't blow every day. So you've got to have that backup power plant with natural gas or coal or refuse coal." And then he went on to say, we're going to be making some amendments to the Virginia Clean Economy Act. Are we going to go with a wholesale rollback? I'd say not, but we are going to try to address some issues that could lower folks' power rate. So how do you see that, Harry? Is that real reality to you, or are those ships passing in the night?
Those, I fear, are ships passing in the night. I think, it is good to hear the incoming majority leader talk about the opportunity, particularly the opportunity for Southwest, that energy storage, solar, wind development poses. I know that he has been out there, and I believe that he genuinely believes that. There are some things that are omitted from that statement that I think it's worth noting. The first and foremost one is that the Clean Economy Act preserves the place of nuclear generation as a clean energy resource in the grid. And that, that sort of gets left out of the conversation, and it's a really important omission. Nuclear makes up just about 30% of generation in Virginia, powering our grid today. So you've got this always on base load generation that's there, which I think really belies the point about, well, if we make this conversion, there's just, we're only going to be relying on wind and solar and nothing else. I'll also note the Clean Economy Act includes one of the most significant energy storage targets in the country, and that's intended to be complementary with the build out of more wind and solar and other renewable resources, so that we do have a resilient, flexible, and a cost-effective grid. The larger point I'd make, and happy to come back and drill on this one further, is, what the majority leader alludes to in his statement is some early cost analysis around the VCEA, which for a variety of reasons we think was very much off the mark. And we actually just completed an updated cost analysis. What is the VCEA really going to cost the average Virginia family in 2030? Because it's a little hard to talk about 2045 and those sort of dynamics. Truth be told, the numbers actually get even better the further out you go, but let's talk about it within that 10-year window. And what we have found is when you put together all of the elements of this law, and it's complex, and there are multiple legs in this stool that it relies upon, but when you put all those elements together, efficiency, plant retirements, offshore wind, broad development of renewables, particularly solar development, energy storage, and all of these elements, in 2030, people's bills will be lower, not higher, provided we stay on track with the Clean Economy Act and we actually meet our targets and continue forward along those trajectories. Per year, they'll save about $30. That's a real savings, particularly for low and middle class families who are sort of struggling to make ends meet. But this idea that somehow the Clean Economy Act is written is going to explode people's costs, our analysis just doesn't bear it out. I think that takes a very selective interpretation of, they look at some elements and not all of others. This really needs to be looked at altogether. That's the clean energy future that we're building. It's cost effective, it creates jobs, it drives investment, and it leads to a cleaner grid.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.